What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Trill or Dave, Hyyer Living. Today I have a very special guest. It's my friend and soon to be partner in situations, my friend Frank Breeze.
What's up, man?
What's going on? All right, now Frank has a very, very, very special and different story compared to not just yoga teachers, but most people. Most people in
I'd be icing it down a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. And I wanted to get his perspective on things because obviously he's in the city, Montgomery, and I feel like when I teach yoga, sometimes when people see me, they might be like, wait, he's a yoga teacher? But then after class, it's like, oh, okay, that was nice. So I'm breaking stigmas, and I know you do too, especially with like,
man,
tattoos.
I got the ink, man. Used to ride the bike, man. Got the hair. Got the hair here in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So today, we're just gonna get straight into it. So I want you to tell the people like a little bit about yourself. I'm gonna get deeper. So just tell me. Yeah, we gonna. Hey, I was gonna say something very vulgar, but I'm not gonna get that. So we're gonna get real deep. So I just want you to tell the people like essentially like where you from, how you grew up, and just a little bit of the early life.
Well, in my early life, I grew up in paradise. I didn't know I was living in paradise, but let me tell you what, Dave. When you live in Gulf Shores, Alabama, 1 block from the beach by the Pink Pony Pub.
Yeah.
And then back then, the Pink Pony Pub had a pier. This was back before 1979. And I lived Hurricane Frederick come by and threw our place away, but I'd go catch fish every morning. Right off the pier. My granddad would help me skin them. We'd eat fish for breakfast. Grandma would cook them up. Had my first job when I was 8 years old. I made $1 an hour. Picked up baseballs, man. I was one of that little dude that ran the scoop net in the back of the batting cages, loading up the cages.
Okay.
And they told me, they said, man, you get $1 an hour, you can hit all the balls you want to hit. Man. I got to hit them suckers.
Yeah.
And
the things they do to get child labor. Continue. I'm sorry.
Child labor. Let me tell you what, dude. If you're 8 years old, you make $1 an hour.
That's a lot, though. That's a lot.
I was balling. Let me tell you.
Facts. That is different. Okay.
But then after that, Hurricane Frederick come through and blew away our house, blew away everything. Wound up moving up to Creola, where my actual dad is chief of police. Okay. And wound up graduating out of Satsuma High School and becoming pipe welder, union pipe welder. Did that for a few years. Had a son, got married, lived a family life, and then I decided, I want to do a few different things, and that's when I kind of got to wrestling a little bit, and then that's when I realized I didn't need a job, I needed money, so I ran to a vacation down at Club Fed.
All right, so that's a good synopsis. You did really, I appreciate that. All right, so we're going to tap into some things. I didn't know you had a kid and all that.
I got a son, he's like 27 years old,
Okay, turn on. We about the same age.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Saying out there?
Actually living in Appalachia.
Okay, nice. All right, cool. All right, so you've done the family life. I have my own visions on that.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story.
Ooh. Yeah, man. That is.
All right, cool. So, starting southern part of Alabama, people call it LA.
LA.
Some people call it Lower Alabama.
Brother.
You know, okay, cool. So, the marriage. I don't want to get too into it because that can be a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
All right, so after that, you said something key, which I learned too. I don't necessarily need a job. I need money.
Absolutely.
So, type into that as far as how you were feeling when you were getting to that point of, all right, none of this is making sense, but only this is. And then after you got into it, how did it expand or situations like that? So,
in which part?
Actually, first, I really want you to just tap into if you can, like your mentality of where you were with like, dang, a lot of things are happening, but I need money, like.
Well, what wound up happening is I was a union pipe welder by trade. The woman I was married to was an aeronautical engineer, and so money was good. Then I started wrestling. And
let's get into that first. Hold on. Let's get into that. Let's get into the wrestling.
That was fun.
Yeah, let's get into the wrestling. The wrestling that you were doing now. What league were you a part of, and like what was your wrestling name?
Breeze.
Nice.
That's where I got it at. You know, Al Savage, man, Bob Holly, and all them. That's who gave me the name.
Nice. So legends. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. And so we was out Unified Championship Wrestling down on the Gulf Coast doing them small shows.
Okay.
And then we started got where he's traveling around and going to New Orleans and all throughout the South, and then wound up in Memphis, Memphis Championship Wrestling up there, and met Jerry Lawler, and wound up a little development deal with WWF.
Big legend.
Oh, legend.
WWF before your WWE kids.
Oh yeah, that was back in the day.
Saying?
That was back when they wasn't doing a whole lot of talking, they was doing a whole lot of throwing and a whole lot of fighting.
Man.
And sometimes a whole lot of fighting turned into a whole lot of woo. But
real.
I tell you what, when you get Ric Flair slapping your chest, putting living room webs that last there for days.
Okay, you got hit by.
I got slapped by Ric Flair. But I tell you the funniest story is I was in a battle royal down in Montgomery, Alabama, and the legend of all time, Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Okay.
So I'm in there with the Bullet. See, some of y'all might not know the Bullet.
I don't know who the Bullet is.
But if you know Road Dogg Jesse James and the part of the New Age Outlaws, that's Bullet Bob Armstrong's son.
Okay.
Back in Continental Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Bullet Bob Armstrong was a legend.
Okay.
Bullet Bob Armstrong in that battle royal, he reached back and he slapped me across the chest. I flew back across the rope, across the top rope, man, I was all the way on the back, and I hit the back. Bullet Bob Armstrong said, Breeze, what happened to you? I gave you a chop, I was fixing to come clothesline you over the top rope. I said, brother.
You did all
I said, man, I just got chopped by the Bullet, man. I was gone.
Exactly.
Man, but that was probably the highlight of my career right there.
Yeah,
man.
nice. Okay.
Man.
What made you think to get into wrestling though? Like what? Was that something you wanted to do as like a kid or something?
Well, as a kid, I always dreamed of it. How many of us had to wrestle around in the floor, man, acting like we were Stone Cold or The Rock?
Oh yeah,
Dropping
both of
elbows.
those.
Oh, absolutely, brother.
Both of those
Hey,
for
let
sure.
me tell you what, man. I was in a wrestling show, went to a little individual show at Unified Championship Wrestling. And I was there with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law looked at him, I said, man, I think I want to do this. He said, come on, man, you can't do this. I said, really? Before I left that night, I done found out where they had a wrestling school. I done found out, come to find out, I knew a couple of people. And next thing you know, I started going to wrestling school.
Pause. This is a sign of when you put some. All right, first thing happened. Don't tell nobody you can't do something. And if you really want to do something, you'll do anything it takes to get to it. And everything happened fast that day, and then boom.
And it happened fast like that. Everything in my life has happened fast like that.
Nice.
And then I started going to that wrestling school. I started meeting some people. Started meeting the Samoans. I was in
real big motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, I used to tag with ECMO. ECMO went on to be called Umaga in the WWF, become the champion. Him and Rakishi, we used to always get in the ring together and just be throwing around Road Dogg, the Bullet.
Rakishi.
And we just get in there, man. Old hardcore Holly come around every now and then, whip our ass and butter every now and then. You know?
This is crazy. This is stuff I didn't know about Frank.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know until right before this. So
So I talked to him. I wore tie-dye tights. I had the hair hanging down.
Yeah.
I come out to the ring, listen to that Leonard Skinner song. They called me the Breeze, and that's how I lived the life, man.
That is dope.
Man, but what happened, they wound up picking me up for a developmental contract. That's where things started taking a left turn. I got paid to work out. I moved to Biloxi, Mississippi. It was sponsored by the President Casino. And all I did was work out, get in the ring, and be ready for if they ever called me. But I got $120,000 a year for doing that.
Hell yeah.
And,
are they still hiring?
Well, I'll tell you what, they probably are, but I'll tell you what wound up happening with me is they started using me for some things, and then Vince bought the WCW, bought the ECW. And then they already had plenty of big name guys, where guys on the developmental deal, they didn't need them no more. So that's what took the left turn.
I see.
But you know, some guys said, so I had to make a change.
Right.
And that's when I realized I don't need to get no job. I need some money.
All right, cool. All right, pause.
Yeah, pause on that one. Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. So, Vince McMahon, huge businessman. He a billionaire?
Absolutely.
I think he's a billionaire.
I think he's probably a billionaire many times over.
Okay, cool. All right, so the unification of the leagues, because when he buys those, he has no more competition after that, pretty much. That's what that is. All right, so you see that happen. He buys everything, and then everything else from, because it was more than just you, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It wasn't just me. It was many guys just got cut.
Like a few stand-ins, everybody get cut. Your thought process is very similar to mine. So with that, tap into, I don't need to get a job. I need to make some money. What was your second thought after that? what were you doing?
Well, I would go to these places I used to go to where I didn't have to wait in line. Come on in, Breeze, what's up? Yeah, man, we're kind of full tonight. You know?
As far as what, like places you going to?
Restaurants.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere. I just go to the bar, wherever I go to, and I got to where I was going to the bar a little too much. And a friend of mine, a friend of mine owned one of the biggest bars in Mobile, the Big Rain Club. Okay. And so we started with bouncing there. And so we get bouncing there and get caught up in that party scene. And you see all the guys over in the corner making tons of money, and that's sadly that's where I said, so what's up with that? So that's why I made a turn and making more money than I was when I was wrestling.
And that's crazy. And that's $120K a year, everybody.
Oh yeah, so absolutely. And
do you mind talking about what you was doing?
I started selling some things I shouldn't be selling.
All right.
I kind of got caught up in the drug scene.
Yeah, Mobile. Let me give a small excerpt.
Absolutely.
You know Mobile, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, Mobile, right off the coast in Alabama, like it's a port city for a reason.
Yes.
Atlanta's not though. I mean, Atlanta's the drug capital of the world, but Mobile gets it right there too, and then Louisiana's right here, Florida's right here.
Yep.
So you can only imagine. He might not want to give the specifics, but whatever narcotic was in, it was in. All right.
It was I was in the big rave scene. And
say less.
Yeah. We make little trips to New Orleans. We would make little trips all, just back and forth.
Right, South Even.
And then over there with the casinos that moved into Biloxi, that is a big hot little spot right there in itself.
People vacationing.
People partying, and you know what's on vacation stays on vacation a lot of times.
Thanks.
And so anyway, I got caught up. I still thought the party scene I was into WWF. It was kind of crazy back then in those days, man. Because you would go to a restaurant.
And around what year is this?
98, 99.
99, okay.
And man, it was
I just moved here.
And it was hard for me to think back, because let me tell you what, when you get a little age on you, which I still feel like I'm 18, and you say back, I do that, it seems like yesterday to me.
Right.
But I also got to remember that was like over 23, 24 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And but then I started going and playing around. But nowadays, you can't get into a scene like the drug scene and think you're not going to get caught.
For sure.
It's the thing that you have to think of is when will you get caught. So if you step in and make you a little money and step out, like many people have done, right. But the money becomes the drug.
That. Whew, yes. You just said it. The drug, the biggest drug be the money.
Be the money.
Man, because it's a resource that's used and needed everywhere. But
everywhere.
Boy, you just said something just
then. That was the problem. But the thing is that money.
You can make a lifestyle
and make $1,000 a week working for it. It goes a long way. You make $10,000, $15,000 a week, you'd be surprised how fast you blow it.
Right, because you would probably, all right, so here's another key I'm thinking of, because that's what I was saying, like, you had the 120K with the wrestling, but you said you were making more money doing this.
More money doing
but
that.
I'm pretty sure your mindset hadn't shifted to, I need to save more, or I need to change, because you were probably living the same way here that you were here.
Except harder.
Exactly, I see.
And you think it's never going to end.
Right.
But it's going to end.
Facts.
Oh, it's going to end fast. And then everybody you know is going to be,
out of nowhere, gone.
Out of nowhere, gone fast. Yes, indeed.
Okay, so you don't have to give the exact day of when it happened, but what year did you get caught? Or
well, it was December 5th, 2007 is when I finally got caught by the feds.
Yeah. And the big guys.
Yeah, it was the big guys.
Big guys, not just PD. You're talking bigger than PD.
It wasn't, hey man, how you doing? Step out the car. It was like I looked down at my belly and I seen red dots everywhere, and people all around. I swear to this day they come with a helicopter, but there was no helicopter. It was just they were everywhere.
And so they've been watching you.
Oh yeah. And one of the persons that I thought was most loyal, who was making tons of money through me, was one that's got paranoid doing drugs and went to the police.
Wow, so he hit you with the blow. You ever seen the movie Blow?
I don't ever watch the movies hardly. No, I never do, man. But it was
Continue.
But yeah, she set me up, and when they called me, but when I look back on it, I can't be mad at her. She had 4 kids. Of course, she done moved down to a nice condo down on the beach. And when they roll up and they got a van out there and they start looking, the kids are crying and they're fixing to load a kid in the van, and they say, well, that's okay. We know what you're doing. Tell us what you and Breeze are doing, or you'll never see your kids again. So I'm not mad at her.
Damn.
And you're dealing with people and you say these people,
especially with the kids, that's what they did. That's what the people do. They hit you right here.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh.
And I'm not mad at her.
Yeah.
But if you look back in hindsight, I used to be mad at her because I had, oh Lord, she hit me up. Now I'll go hug her. Because with everything that happened and all the time I was gone, and I'll probably start crying, but look where we're sitting, Dave.
Exactly. And I'm thinking about it like, bro, there's a lot of growth.
Man, and where we're sitting at and what I get to do every day and the places I get to go, people say, and there was a lot of bad scenes when I was at Club Fed. I got killed when I was there. And I would go through it all again right now to be right back here helping the people that I help right here in this building.
That's beautiful. I
would do that, and that's crazy because, like I said, you hear stories and you hear things about when you're at Club Fed.
Yeah.
Some of the places are, the little lows aren't really a whole lot. But they sent me to a place where people wouldn't get off the bus.
And where did you go?
I went to Victorville out in California. And one movie I did see because somebody told me that they pretended like it was Victorville. It's one of them Fast and Furious movies. Mm-hmm. And do you remember when they landed at that thing and the prison was right there?
I think so.
And then the one guy, he was standing in that cell when that guy was talking to him, and he said, "You're lucky this door is shut." And that guy that was in there snapped his fingers and said that can be took care of, and opened that door. That stuff happens. And you're in there in a place where you're just there. So what you wind up doing is you got to adapt.
And how did you do so?
Well,
so you was a wrestler, and then you was in the crime wave.
Yeah.
But now you're in a university of criminals.
University of criminals, a lot of real bad guys.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys in there for a lot of things, murder. A lot of them and then the gang activity was unreal.
Right.
And like I told you earlier, I never experienced racism until I went to prison.
Right. All right. So pause.
Yeah.
Little pause. Look at my skin. Look at his. Now, some people don't know this, but when you're in jail, you depending on your situation, a lot of times you have no choice but to join a gang.
None at all.
So me and Frank are cool. I'm pretty sure Frank was not like this before he went in. But explain.
But even back then, I had my friends, and I hate to say one was African American, one was Hispanic, but everybody was just people.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But when you get there, and like me, you wouldn't even. If they see me talking to you,
it's a
they
problem.
and say, "What's up with you over there talking to him?" You know. So I wound up in a situation where they want you to put in work, and they will send you to handle things. And since I was a lot bigger then, I was 240, 6'1". I got to the point where I didn't think I'd get out. I've seen so many people get done, you know, and so I didn't think I'd get out.
To you.
And
how long
did it happen to me?
How long were you?
A little over 10 years.
Over 10, yeah.
And I can tell you a crazy story about how I got out because I was up there I went to Victorville, and this here happened. It was like around 2010, and they wanted me to go do some work, and I wouldn't do it. But before that, I was the one that would say, "Hey man, come let me show you how to do this," because I love this. But I love to fight. I grew up fighting.
Okay.
And back then, we'd go down, we'd drink some beer, get in them trucks and go ride in the mud. And somebody, if you didn't hook up with a girl, you was gonna fight somebody. But then when you got through fighting, you'd say, "Man, you had me right over there, man." You know, it was just like you fight.
It's all love after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you might even become best friends. But there, it was a totally different situation. You get into a good situation, and you might not come out of that situation. But they killed me out there. And they went out to the yard one day, and because I refused to do something they said, and it was actually to go jump on a guy because he was buying stuff from a black dude in a black store. And they wanted me to go handle it, and I wasn't going to do it. And
they jumped you.
They jumped me, see something jumped me with baseball bats. Now most of my face is titanium, and I stayed in the hospital about 6 months, and their orders was to kill me. And wasn't been a helicopter at the airport right then, I wouldn't have made it. They say I died, and they brought me back. I don't know. And
hold on,
it's kind of crazy.
There's a lot going on right now.
And
my first question is, how the hell did they get fucking bats?
Well, they play softball in there.
Damn.
They got softball fields, they got soccer fields.
Somebody in the equipment room is dirty.
Oh, everybody out there is dirty. Because
your face is made out of titanium?
Most of my face is
a lot of this I'm learning too now.
Yeah, and but when I come back, it was the craziest thing. I had no hate in my heart. I had nothing but love, and whatever happened to me, I didn't see no light. But matter of fact, my sister and some of my family will say, I don't know who you are, but I wish you'd go back to Club Fed and let my brother out.
Damn.
When I come out, and I have bouts of vertigo, I started having bouts of vertigo and all because my head, they had to bust open my skull because it was swelling so bad. And so what wound up happening is I had this vertigo, and I had bad bouts of memory loss and all. And so I said, I don't want to take your medicine. So I went to the doctors, and they said, you're lucky to be alive. Well, I went to a psychologist, and let me tell you how that happened. I looked at her and I said, what can I do? Because I'm not taking this medicine no more. She said, I don't know what to tell you, dude, but have you ever tried yoga and meditation? And I said, well, nope, but I think I'm finna try.
And what year was this? This is important.
The year, this right here was probably about 2010.
Okay.
About halfway through, maybe.
Okay.
And the guy that was teaching yoga happened to be from Eastern Alabama. And I used to go there with my coffee, and I'd be.
And this is still in.
This was in Club Fed.
This is in jail.
In Club Fed.
Fed, not jail. This is Fed, not jail.
Continue. And matter of fact, I got my first mat that I snuck out of Club Fed out there in the box. Out of the box.
Gotta see.
I got pictures of me teaching classes in Club Fed.
I've seen those. I've seen them.
And man, we have 30, 40, 50, sometimes 50 people in the gym 3 times a day.
Yeah.
But one of the most things I'm most proud of is the guy that was teaching them classes. He got ready to leave, and everybody said, who's going to teach? I said, who's going to teach now? They said, you are. So I ordered a bunch of books, and they had a couple of videos. But that guy, I can still call him the guru forever. Right where we're sitting, Dave, let me tell you what, man. I got here one night after opening the studio, I've been open for about 4 or 5 months. I get back over here, and the light's wrong. What the heck's going on? I didn't leave them lights on. Barbara was with me. And I come in here, and he was sitting there, and his girlfriend was sitting right there. And man, that was one of the most emotional moments of my life.
I'm sure it was.
And he asked me, he said, after we talked a while, he said, would you marry us right here in the studio?
Yeah.
And I said, yep. And so I married them right here. I'm also an ordained minister through Universal Life Church. Nice. And I married them right here in the studio. And
I'm learning so much.
That was just so emotional, man. It just
clearly.
It was crazy cool, man.
Because I mean, your teacher came back in this build, like where you teach, where you lead people outside of from where you were, outside of from where y'all initially met.
Oh,
and then he asked you to do nuptials with the lady of his life. That is different.
And did it right here in the studio, man. I've married a couple people in here.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
And let me tell you what, man, that is such the most awesome feeling, you know.
I'm sure.
But as you know, man, there's just so many good things going on here.
Yeah. Okay. So I need to go back a little bit. Yeah. Get yourself together.
Oh yeah, I'm always together. I'm an emotional dude now.
Hey, that's good because that means you know yourself and you're aware and you deal with everything. Okay. So the psychologist said to get into yoga and meditation, and you getting into it.
Yep.
You meet the guru, and then all right. So as you take over the classes while you're in, how do you go about doing it? And I'll add to that. I remember. How did you go about teaching when you first started? Because I already before you go, I remember being slightly nervous just teaching people out here.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing was, because like I told you at first, I was self-taught before I met Juliet.
Right.
So I was like, I can do anything. And then when I met her, I was like, I just want to make sure I sequence things properly.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got out there, I was like, I can do it right, but I don't want to mess nobody up. Right. That's my thing. So
that's
what was
100% thing.
Okay.
Well, that's why a lot of my teaching and my cueing, a lot of people say I talk a whole lot, but I do. I talk a whole lot all the time anyway, as you know. But it's my cueing is you don't touch nobody. But you can come up to them and put that hand out in front of that knee and say, move that knee forward. Yeah. Or you can say, hey man, you know you're going to hurt yourself, quit pushing. And I learned, and I would like to throw this right here in. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I've ever seen on the other side of that fence that breaks some barriers was yoga. We would have people, man, and that is a fact. And it gets so much deeper than that with the way the story goes. But I was in there and I was teaching. We would have guys, they ain't supposed to be talking to each other. Talking about, I'll see you tomorrow, man. That was a good class, you know? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's what's up. I got you. The warden wound up coming to me at that place and said, what do we need to do to keep what you're doing going? I said, we need some mats, man. Everybody said, you're not going to get no mats. They took all the mats away from us because people were wrapping around their body for armor. When they go to fight, in case you got stabbed, you had something to kind of help you out.
The innovation that I've heard from people that have been in jail.
And but that's why they took the mats away. Yeah. The next thing you know, within a week, we had over 100, right at 100 mats there.
She saw, was it a man or woman?
It was a female person.
She saw it. Okay. They saw
They saw what was happening. The place I was at become the least place in the Federal Bureau of Prisons for any violent activity. And they also had me playing psychology, doing relaxation meditation courses. And that's why I started following Guru Maya with the City Yoga Meditation. And man, the thing that happened through meditation and the people that I met, it's just, it can go on. And every story is just so deep and so real.
For sure.
That man.
Hell yeah.
The things that we can do with this yoga meditation, and we don't have to do it. It ain't us.
Trust
Don't get it wrong. It ain't me. I didn't do nothing.
We just be guided.
Yeah, I just show you what people need to do.
I try to tell people that too.
Yeah. We ain't doing nothing, man.
We just guide.
You what you can do.
We just hear that, exactly that.
And I got to where I could see people. And when I go places now, I'll be staring at people. It might be a guy or a girl or whatever, but I'll be staring at them and Mom will say, you need to quit staring at him. I'll say, but look at that, man. You know that hip right there, man. He needs, you know, or she needs to.
See, stuff like that. I do stuff like that too.
I can't help it.
I do that stuff. I do stuff like that too. Like if I, all right, so we'll get into the kids stuff too. But
yeah,
when I see kids or something, or a perfect example before we get into kids, I'll just keep it on this level. When I started, when people ask me, because people come to me for answers and questions and all of this and stuff, and they'll be like, one of the first things I say is, have you been meditating?
Ooh.
It's either that.
It works.
These are the three of my main questions when people ask me something. Yep. Have you been meditating? How have you been eating?
Yep.
And how much water have you been drinking? Those are the three main things I ask.
Yep.
And then a lot of times, the water might be the thing that people are onto, because people know they gotta have the water in, you know.
You gotta have the water.
But then the other two might not be the greatest, especially meditation, because most of the time, people think meditation is bad.
A lot of people look at meditation.
Like I tell people this so I can break the stigma, because they'll be like, I pray but I don't meditate. I'll be like, yeah, that's backwards. They're like, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
Praying is when you talk to God. Meditating is let God talk to you. So I think you should let that talk more than you talk. Just getting quiet. They even say be still.
Be still.
Be still and know that I am, you know.
Yep.
So it's like that's amazing. So you were able to help transform lives where people are throwing these people away, pretty much.
Forever.
Throwing these people away, but the person over this whole situation can see that this is making a difference. Made changes within their system, and then you had the least violence within
the whole Bureau of Prisons. Kind of one place I was at.
Come on.
And it was like people people would come there and say, I've never been nowhere like this.
Right. And that's why I always tell people when they ask me, how do you get into yoga, or what is yoga? I'll be like, yoga literally means union.
Absolutely.
And it's from yourself to the divine, but it can be me and you. It can be union.
Yeah.
It's coming together. Okay, cool. So you get out. What year did you get out?
I got out. Man, let me tell you what. March 31st, 2017, I was released from Club Fed. Well, actually, I got released a little early. Went to a halfway house out on Fleming Road.
Okay.
This was Charities.
Okay.
And hit here, and I got a pass to go to the library, and I looked up every yoga studio in Montgomery.
Were there any?
There was a few.
Yoga gym?
You had Yoga Gym. You had MJ teaching out there on Bond Road.
I never knew where her place was.
Well, she wound up being at the Sanctuary. She was on Bond Road then. Had several more under Health-Wise and all.
Yeah.
You had Kimmy, had the Fly Aerial.
Yeah.
And you had Tempe Yoga out there, out on Chantilly out there. And there was another one.
I know that.
It's out of the CrossFit place. It was a hot yoga studio.
Yeah. You're talking about way.
Yep, out there.
Kind of by Walmart.
Past the Home Depot out there, and up on the left.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
And they had there. I called everybody I could, and I told them my story. I said, I just got out of federal prison. I've been teaching, and I'll come clean your mats, clean your windows, clean the floors.
Just let me teach.
I didn't ask to teach. I said I want to be a part of the yoga community, and I want to go through a teacher training, and I would like to go ahead and start anybody that would give me a chance. And nobody hit me back except one person.
Who?
Liz Campbell over at Yoga Gym.
Shout out to Miss Liz Campbell.
She is awesome, and she hit me up, and actually she went to her church and asked people about what she should do. And I met her. I tell you something funny. I used to say Dandasana, and because I was learning out of books.
Okay.
And
how you pronounce it stuff.
Shavasana.
Yeah. I got you.
And so we went over to that first day to do a class. She said, "We'll talk." And the bus was running late. I didn't really know where I was going, and I never rode a bus before.
Yeah.
And so I get off the bus and I run in there. And this class is starting. I jump on the mat. She said, "I've never seen nobody come into a class and just fall in just like you did." And so she said, "Come back tomorrow. We'll talk." So